So thank you so much, guys, for joining our fifth webinar. It's the fifth webinar already. Oh my God, time flies. Nursepreneur Strategy Concur Real Estate. Today, we're going to be talking about the roles and responsibilities of an active investor in syndication. Like I say, Nancy, Fran, and I are very, very thrilled to have you with us today. Thank you for spending Tuesday night with us. So let's get this webinar started.
We're going to start with our disclaimer. This webinar is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not a solicitation to invest in any specific deal. As nursepreneurs, we encourage all our investors to do their due diligence and advise with tax and legal consultant before investing in any deal.
If you guys have joined us before, you know that we are three nurses who have found a passion for real estate investing. We are on a mission to help other nurses, other healthcare professionals achieve financial independence, to achieve that time freedom that we are looking for and that we are on our way to achieve through savvy, passive real estate investment opportunities.
Like Nancy mentioned, we are nurses. We know that nurses and healthcare professionals, most of the time we dedicate our energy and our time to caring for others, but sometimes we forget to prioritize our own financial well-being. Nancy, Fran, I know that real estate investment offer potential for passive income, wealth accumulation, and portfolio diversification beyond traditional saving and retirement accounts. So we want to provide this opportunity and education for our fellow nurses and healthcare professionals because we can see what real estate can bring us in the long term. In this webinar, we're going to be talking about the roles and responsibilities of an active investor. We're going to be talking about what are essential steps that active investors take and how these steps can impact your investment. We're going to be talking about how us, as an active investor, managing our properties, how we execute successful exit strategies to maximize your returns.
Tonight, we want you guys to understand what the role of an active investor is. As a nursepreneur, we are syndicators, general partners, and we manage real estate investment projects. We oversee the day-to-day operations, we plan strategically to make informed decision-making, and we ensure the success of our investments.
What are the active investors' roles? As you can see here, there are many different roles that have to be played, that have to happen in order to be able to have a successful passive real estate investment opportunity. Of course, we don't play every role. We have a team that helps us with these different roles. Just like in nursing, there's a whole team taking care of the patients. There's also a whole team that makes sure that our investment opportunity is successful and provides you with the best investment returns.
Before we investing in any market, Nancy, Fran, and I and our team, we pay very close attention to what is the best location for our investment. We do a very thorough research. We try to our best to understand the market trends, and we look at what demographics that can help us predict the future of our performance. We not just invest in that market because we want to invest in it. We really have plan in place before we even look in any deals or do any more research via teams and all that extent. There are several steps that we take in market analysis, that including we do analysis on economic indicators. We look at what is the population growth, what the job growth in that market, to make sure that really a good market to invest in. We also study any real estate trends as well. We also look at the neighborhood factors very closely. We look at what is the school rating. We want to be in the market that have a high school rating. We want to be in a market that have very low crime rates. And we look at other amenities as well, because those factors we know that can attract people from to move into that market. When more people move in, that means the rental demands also increasing as well. So this is the very, very important factors that we look at before we investing in any market.
When we source our deals, we look for potential properties by networking with brokers, real estate agents. We attend different conferences and industry events. We go to different real estate meetups. We leverage our online platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and we establish relationships with property owners so that if there's any off-market deals, we'll be the first to know.
When we do source a deal, a potential deal, we have to make sure that we conduct a thorough due diligence. Just like in nursing, whenever we have a new patient that we admit, we have to do a head-to-toe assessment. The same applies in real estate. We need to make sure that we thoroughly assess everything that has to do with the property, not just the property physically, but also the financial aspect as well as the environmental aspect of the property. Doing a thorough investigation of a property before finalizing the purchase makes sure that we mitigate any risks, any potential risks that can come, that could arise in the long run.
Another responsibility that another very important responsibility as an active investor is financial underwriting. We always say when the numbers look good, the deal looks good. So we have a very strong underwriter in our team that pay very close attention to the whole picture of the deal. We are very conservative when it comes to underwriting to make sure we're protecting our investor interest. We have the financial models in place, which is the detailed financial projections that we use to estimate the future performance of the investment. We pay close attention to the key metrics. We spoke about these key metrics before during our previous webinar, so we're not going to go over in detail during this webinar. If you want to do recap on what the indications of each key metric, we recommend you go to our YouTube channel and look at our previous webinar. I will be explained in detail about each key metrics. So the key metrics that we look at, for example, is IRR, internal rate of return, cash on cash return, equity multiple, and cap rate. We also do a sensitivity analysis, which is we determine how different scenarios might impact our investment. Like Nancy mentioned, so we can, when we know the risk, we can find the best way to reduce the risk. This is gonna help, protecting investment long-term and help, that's the best interest for our investor as well.
Our deal is only as strong as our team is. This business is relationship focused, and before we close on any deal, we have to build a strong relationships with brokers and real estate agents so that we could get the good deals. We also consult with legal advisors, tax advisors, accountants, lenders, and mortgage brokers so that we can get good loans. And relationships in this business matter because we rely heavily on different professional teams so that we can secure a good investment and a profitable investment. After closing on a good deal, we build relationships with property managers so that they can oversee the day-to-day operations of the location, contractors so that they can come in and do the renovation work that needs to be done so that the property can increase in value, legal advisors, accountants, tax advisors, and as nursepreneurs, we take over the investment relationship management. As a passive investors, you'll be hearing from us very frequently so that we let you know how the deal is going and how your investment is going as well.
In order to be able to finance a property, we have to look at different financing options that might include traditional bank loans, bridge loans, which are short-term loans, or private lenders. We leverage financing in order to be able to maximize your returns. When we are going to go to a lender, we need to make sure that we're prepared with financial statements, property appraisals, and our business plan. It's, as we mentioned on our previous slide, it's important that we have a strong relationship with lending brokers because that will enhance our credibility with lenders and it will make it easier for us to secure a loan that has favorable terms that will maximize our investors' returns.
When we have the deal in place, the next step we do is negotiating the purchase. We have negotiation strategies in place to ensure that the purchase term is favorable to us as a buyer. We also need to understand what are the seller motivations. We need to know why the seller want to sell the property so we can find a win-win solution for both the seller and us as a buyer. We have purchase agreement in place. We structure the purchase agreement to protect the investor interest. There's key elements that we include in the purchase agreement, including price, contingency, and closing date. We managing contingency to allow us to renegotiate or back out if we're not able to secure financing. If we found any significant issues during our inspections, and also if we found any contamination during our environmental assessment, that's going to give us some little bit of cushion and protection that we don't commit to any deals that we not fully see the potential and be comfortable with. So that's give up a little bit of cushion that we can back out if we need to.
As active investors, we create the investment plan. That includes a comprehensive business plan that outlines the strategy on how we're going to acquire the property, manage it, and exit. In our investment objectives, we set clear objectives for returns, timeline, and risk management. When we do our capital improvements, we put in a plan as to when and who is going to do the renovations and improve the property so that it increases its value and rental income.
There's, of course, legal and regulatory compliance that we need to follow. This passive investment opportunity is a security, so it falls under the SEC Regulation D, 506B or 506C. We do have a webinar where we go in depth in detail about 506B versus a 506C. So you can always go to our YouTube channel and review that webinar. There's legal documents that we need to have, which include a private placement memorandum that provides detailed information about the investment. We also have an operating agreement, which is a legal document that outlines the management and the operation of the entity. And we have the subscription agreement, which will outline the terms of the investment. We need to make sure that we're compliant with all legal and regulatory laws to ensure that the investment follows all the laws and that it is safe for our passive investors to invest with us.
Another responsibilities as active investor is raising capital. We have strategies in place that we use to attract and securing our investment from our potential passive investors. For example, we attending networking events, just like Fran mentioned earlier. We try to meet as many people as we can. We also have our social media platforms, like for example, our Facebook, that we have for the NURSEPRENEUR strategy, Concur Real Estate. We also have many people that the previous investor that referring, the potential investor to us as well. We have marketing materials in place to clearly explain what our investment opportunity and what the benefits. We hosting monthly webinar like this webinar. We have in-person meeting events. We also provide bi-weekly newsletters to our potential investor as well. We know that trust is important when it comes to investing in any real estate investment or other investment as well. That's why NURSEPRENEUR, we commit to that we will be as transparent as we can. We make sure that we be there for our potential investor. We update our investor regularly. We be there to make sure we answer any questions that you have. And importantly, we always make sure that we explain the potential risks and what the strategies that we have in place to make sure that our investor is comfortable to invest with us. Not our investment relationship is not just not stop after you invest with us, but it's also continue toward the life of the term of the investment opportunity as well. So make sure that we guide you every step of the way.
As active investors, we undergo an asset management phase after we acquire the property, meaning that we monitors performance through reviewing financials and key performing metrics, such as monthly income statements, occupancy rates, and delinquencies. Our implementation for a value-added strategy includes renovations to increase the overall value of that property, operation improvements, and rebranding. Our ongoing responsibilities of overseeing the property is to ensure smooth and profitable operation. With maintenance and repairs, we want to regularly see the property and address any issues. And with tenant relations, we want to improve that community for our tenants so that they feel like they have a good home to come home to every day.
Once we secure a property and we are asset managing this property, we reach a point where the property stabilizes and we're able to start with distributions and returns. There's different types of structures for distributions. There could be regular distributions or preferred returns. This is all outlined in the legal documents. You also have to keep in mind the equity splits between the active investors and the passive investors. We calculate returns and report them accurately to our passive investors. We always want to make sure that we keep our investors informed about expected returns, the timelines, and any changes that might occur. It happens in real estate, in syndications, or in any type of real estate. There's going to be sometimes things that happen that you cannot, that are out of your hands. So that might affect the way the returns are distributed or affect the percentage of the return that are going to be given to our investors. But we make sure that we regularly update you on the performance of the investments, and we make sure that we are honest about the delays or the changes in the projected returns on a timely manner.
Exit strategies. That's another responsibility as active investor is to have a good planned exit strategies in place. When we plan exit strategy, we either plan for selling or refinancing the property to maximize the returns for our investors. However, whatever step or whatever strategy that we have in place, we want to make sure that it meets the financial goals and provide substantial benefit to our passive investor. That's two options for exit strategy. We could either sell the property or refinancing the property. By selling the property, the benefit of that is for the investor to receive a significant lump sum of return. However, we need to be very thorough when I look at the market conditions to make sure that the time that we want to sell our property is providing us with, a good final price, right? Because return is very important. However, if the market is not favorable for us to sell the property, we could refinancing the property. By doing that, our investor can continue to hold the property a little bit longer, while also benefit from ongoing cash flow. And also our investor can access some of their invested capital when we do refinancing the property. However, we need to make sure that we pay very close attention to the refinancing terms, what the interest rate of that time that could affect the amount of equity that we can access. The timing of the market is very important. That's why as an active investor, we ongoing look at the market conditions. We also monitoring economic indicators to make sure that the exit strategy that we have in place is the best exit strategy at that current market.
What are some of the key takeaways that we want you guys to remember from tonight? The active role of an investor and the extensive responsibility and tasks that we undertake as an active investor. And appreciate the work that's involved in managing and executing a profitable investment. As Nancy mentioned before, it's many steps, and it's not steps that we take alone. It's a bigger team than just us, and a lot of time and effort is put into closing on a deal and bringing this opportunity to you as a passive investor. We also want you to have clarity on the process of what it is to invest. Learn the essential steps that we undertake for market research, deal sourcing, due diligence, financial underwriting, and asset managing. We want you as a passive investor to gain enough knowledge to understand the structure of how we invest in a syndication and to gain knowledge so that you can increase your confidence as a passive investor. We also want you to maximize your investment, and we want you to do that by understanding how it is that we acquire property through a syndication. As active investors, we're equipped with knowledge, and we want to share that knowledge with you so that you can make an informed decision. We also want you to understand the investment business plan so that you can maximize your return in a syndication.
Other than our monthly free webinars, we also have our bi-weekly newsletters that we have put a lot of time and effort. You can scan the QR code here on the screen and it will lead you to register for our bi-weekly newsletter. They're very short, they're not very time consuming, they're straight to the point and full of education. We wish we had resources like this long time ago so that we would be empowered, so that we would have started our investing journey many years ago when we started our nursing career. So join us on a nurse-led movement towards financial prosperity and freedom. Let's build a future together.
In addition to our monthly webinar and bi-weekly newsletter, we also encourage you guys to book a one-on-one call with us. Like Fran said during our previous webinar, that you pick your favorite nursepreneur and book the call. We would love to talk to you individually about, what is your goals, what is your current financial plan, so we can guide you to the, the right direction that fit you the most. By doing that, like we said, we always encourage you guys to talk to us. So we want to be that person to be able to guide you. Like Nancy mentioned, when we first start our nursing career, we was hopeful like somebody would start this earlier, so we can have some people, group of people that can guide us, that share the same pain point as us, that know what we're doing every day. And so yes, book the call with us. Pick your favorite nursepreneur. So we would love to talk to you more.